Hello, my beautiful Bravo lovers. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. We have a lot to talk about today, y'all. A lot to talk about. We're talking about everything that has been going on in the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, all of the breaking news. If you've been living under a rock, this is going to come to a shock to you. And if you are in tune with all things pop culture, this is not going to come to a shock to you. We're talking about Jen Shah's prison sentence today. We're also talking about Heather Gay's black eye. And we're talking about whether or not the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City has a future beyond the current season that is airing, season 3. We have a lot to talk about, y'all, so let's not waste any time and get right into it. First up, we're talking about it. We are talking about Jen Shah. We are talking about her sentencing. It has finally happened. So, if you have been living under a rock, let me bring you up to speed. So what did Jen Shah do? So back in July of 2020, she pled guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud for running a telemarketing scheme that defrauded elderly people out of thousands of dollars. So essentially what she did, she was the ringleader out of all of this. She ran these fake type of businesses that sold services, but they didn't really exist. So like how to build a brand, how to build a business, all these various services, mainly to people that didn't understand what was going on, aka elderly people, which is so freaking sick. So that is how she got all of this money, by buying and selling leads, running these fake businesses, selling these services that didn't exist, having a team of other sickos that did the same thing that worked for her. She did this whole thing. So frauded elderly people out of millions of dollars. Like, what the hell? And we saw all of that play out last season when the FBI raided the Sprinter van. So, okay, she was finally sentenced on Friday before the U.S. District Court, Sydney Stein. So the government requested that Jen Shah be sentenced to 10 years in prison, but Jen Shah's lawyers sought a 3-year term. Well, we can finally announce what Jen Shah's prison sentence is going to be. So on Friday, January 6th, Jen Shah was sentenced to 78 months in federal prison, 6.5 years in federal prison, and also 5.5 years of supervised release when she gets out. Y'all, okay, am I shocked? No. But here's the thing about Jen Shah, all right? Even last season, and this season specifically, she has really made it seem like I am innocent, I didn't do this, y'all are making me out like I'm a bad person, da. It's just mind-blowing. And all while this was going on, she still continued to sell like free Jen Shah merch, I'm innocent merch. It's all just a weird, twisted view of reality. Like, she does not live in reality with the rest of us. So, it's just crazy, y'all. So also, since the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City debuted in 2020, Miss Jennifer Shah, she flaunted all of her wealth by throwing these huge, lavish, over-the-top parties, buying expensive clothes. Remember back in season 1, she threw that immaculate party for Meredith for her birthday, but really was it a birthday party? Not so much. She gave Heather Gay that private shopping experience in Vegas. She had freaking taglines that said, Shah amazing. The only thing I'm guilty of is being Shah amazing. And like, the government, the United States federal government saw all of that. And they're like, Look at you. You have frauded elderly people out of money, and here you are flaunting your wealth on national television. Here's another thing, though. If you are doing something like this, hear me out. If you are doing something like this, why are you going on a reality TV show? Seriously. If she was doing this, and this is not something that she just started when she got on the show. Oh, no, 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 no. This has been going on for years and years and years. If you knew you were doing slimy, illegal shit like this, why the hell would you go on a reality TV show? You're gonna get caught. Hello? So, okay. So, Jen Shah, she is going to federal prison. Now, here's the thing. Now, all right, the same thing could happen to her that happened to Teresa when she went to jail. That she could get released for good behavior. So here's the thing. According to NBC News, the article that I am reading through, federal inmates can earn up to 54 days of good time credit a year. So 54 days of good time credit a year. So if Jen Shah can calm her tits and behave and not start fights with anyone, which I find highly unlikely. I mean, there has been videos that have surfaced of her fighting with people in the streets of New York, the way she behaves on, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I don't necessarily know she's going to be getting out for good behavior. That's just me. Maybe she will. But she's been getting in brawls, screaming matches in the streets of New York City with her family. I don't think she's getting out on good behavior, y'all. If she does, and let's say she does get 54 days of good credit time every year she's in there, she will end up spending 5.5 years actual time served. That's a long ass time. So Jen Shah is ordered to turn herself in to the federal facility on February 17th. So she has until February 17th to self-surrender and start her prison sentence. So here's another thing that she's requesting. She's requested to be sent to FPC Bryan, a minimum security camp for women in Texas. Now, someone else is in that prison as well. Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of Theranos. There's a whole Hulu documentary about it. The Elizabeth Holmes, that is where she is currently sentenced. Yo. I am... Who does Jen Shah think she is? Now, I've been doing a lot of digging, a lot of researching. Also, at her sentencing hearing on Friday, Jen Shah's manager was there. And the judge says, "I'm concerned, Ms. Shah, that you said your manager is here. If you intend to profit from this procedure, there should be no intention to profit for this crime." I think she's going to try to write a book and pull a Teresa. I think the big difference between Teresa's legal situation and Jen Shah's legal situation is I think Teresa honestly didn't know what Joe Giudice was doing and just signed papers. And Jen Shah is the ringleader of these crimes. She was actually committing these crimes. And this shit, y'all, it runs deep. Deep. Jen Shah also tried to cover up her criminal conduct by telling others to lie and delete text messages, placing businesses and bank accounts under other people's names, taking steps to move some of her operations to Kosovo. She has sold Jen Shah t-shirts, "Justice for Jen Shah," #Justice for Jen Shah, "Not guilty," "I'm innocent." She's done all of this stuff to try to profit from what is going on and try to cover up what she has done. It has also been said, the assistant U.S. attorney said Jen Shah was laughing in text message asking, quote, "Did you get her to stop crying about an 80-year-old woman? She told people how to do it. It was a brazen fraud. She opened her own floor. She moved things overseas. She starts dealing in cash." The judge said, "My intention is to impose a sentence of 78 months of incarceration and other conditions. Any formal objection to the procedure? No." Judge Stein says, "Please rise. Guideline range 135 to 168 months. I sentence you to 78 months in prison." I am just completely floored by all of this, because this, seriously, guys, it runs so deep. So much more deep than I think any of us really thought it did. Get her out of here. Also, the assistant U.S. Attorney General said, "I only met with a few. There are thousands of victims. There are more than 1,000 on the restitution order. The call for punishment here is grave." Judge Stein says, "Ms. Shah, I'm prepared to listen to you." Jen Shah said, "You and the world know me as Jen Shah. But reality TV has nothing to do with reality. Even my tagline, Shah Amazing, they wrote it. Bravo. I want to speak about who I am. I stand before you as an immigrant from Tonga and Hawaii. The elderly command the most respect. I am the family matriarch. The principles are humility and loyalty and respect. I have come to terms. I have gone against these. I am sorry. My actions have hurt innocent people. I want to apologize by saying I'm doing all I can to earn the funds to pay restitution." Jen Shah's restitution is actually $6.6 million and to forfeit $6.5 million and 30 luxury items, including designer handbags and jewelry. Judge Stein asks, "How will you raise the $6 million in restitution?" Jen Shah said, "My manager is here. We're working on things." Judge Stein says, "While in prison?" Jen Shah says, "Yes." Judge Stein says, "You're still in the cast?" Jen Shah says, "Yes. I sold merchandise about this case through a third-party vendor. I will devote it to the victims." I don't think she was going to keep that money and save it for the victims. I think that bitch was trying to steal that money and keep it for her goddamn self. And now that she's guilty and has a prison sentence and knows that her ass is going to prison for a very long time, now all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, but I'm gonna use that money for the victims." Bitch, I don't think she was. Jen Shah continues on to say, "Thank you for reviewing my sensitive information. Long-standing untreated mental issues caused me to create my own fractured reality." Huh? Jen continues to say, "This is a crucible moment for me. With the proper medication, I can now see what happened." What the fuck? "I wish I could have stood outside myself. I am sorry. I have found solace in my volunteer work with anti-racism organizations and the LGBTQ plus community." So she is saying, I just want to make sure I understand what I just read, that because she is mentally ill, that has caused her to lose touch with reality and scam people out of millions, old people, mind you, millions of dollars, sold them fake businesses, harassed them, made them cry, and told the people that worked for her ways to get people to calm down because you are stealing money from them. I don't think that's a mental health issue. I think that's you're just an awful human being issue. Like, I have mental health issues. I have anxiety. I have ADD. I suffer from bouts of depression. Like, I have mental health issues, but I'm not going out and scamming people out of money and running fake businesses. That's not a mental health thing. I don't know. The long and the short of it is Jen Shah is going away to prison for 6.5 years. Good behavior, she could get out in 5.5 years. And then she's also looking at 5.5 years of supervised release. So Jen Shah is going to be self-surrendering. She has until the 17th. Is that what I said? The 17th or was it the 7th? She has until, y'all, losing my damn mind over here, February 17th. She has to self-surrender by February 17th. All right. Another real thing before we move over to Heather Gay's black eye, because I know a lot of people want to know about that story too. Jen Shah will not be at the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. She is not going to be there because she will not talk about any of her legal things. She also won't talk about any of her legal things on the entire season as well. And every time someone brings it up, she freaks out. So Jen Shah not going to be at the reunion. And if Jen Shah thinks that they're going to give her the same treatment as they did with Teresa, I think she's sadly mistaken. They're not going to put the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City on an indefinite hiatus for 5.5 years until she gets out. Because even when she gets out, I don't think they're going to allow her to be on TV. So the future of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City has a big question mark on it right now. And we're going to get to that later. But let's switch gears and talk about Heather Gay and the black eye. I don't even know where to begin with this, y'all. So the ladies went on a cast trip to San Diego. Heather Gay, Meredith, Whitney, Angie, Dana, like all of them, they were up until like 4 a.m. partying, drinking, doing God knows what, okay? Setting the tone. Like Heather Gay, very drunk, showing her titties, all partying in her room. Next morning, text Jen Shah, come to my room right now. Jen Shah prances over. Hey girl, what's up? Playing with the wigs. Yeah, da 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 da. Heather Gay shows her the black eye. What happened? I don't know. You tell me. What happened? I don't know what happened. Calls Meredith over. Shows her the black eye. Oh my God, what happened? I don't know what happened. Someone fill me in. I don't know. Jen and Heather, they're trying to corroborate a story of like, what are they going to tell everybody? What happened? Jen Shah's like, tell everybody like a spider laid eggs in your eye. What? So Heather Gay is adamant, like, I'm not telling anybody what happened. I don't know what happened. I'm not talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. And it's really frustrating because you have a goddamn black eye. We all can see the black eye, all right? I have eyeballs, all right? I'm looking at your black eye. What happened? And I find it really annoying that no one, Heather Gay, will tell us what happened with this goddamn black eye. What happened to your black eye? Because I need to freaking know what happened. Like, she has gone on now for the past 3 episodes not wanting to talk about the black eye, wanting to sweep it under the rug, doesn't want to bring anyone else in, doesn't want to call anyone else out, doesn't want to talk about it, wants it to all go away. You have a black eye and you got to talk about it. You're on TV. You have a black eye. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on. And there are so many theories going on about this black eye. One of them is production concocted the whole thing. If that's the case, and they made this whole thing up, AKA Heather like slipped and fell and just hit her eye on something. And they're like, nope, we're going to run with this and make it seem like someone clocked you in the face. What the actual FUCK is happening to people that are actually like abused, that actually get abused? What a slap in the face. Like, you're on national television, you have a big black eye, and you're not willing to talk about it. And you're not willing to say, hey, listen, Jen Shah punched me in the face. Whitney Rose punched me in the face. We got in a fight and she punched me. Like, that is a physical altercation. Like, people can get fired for that. Like, you cannot do that. I mean, we still don't know what happened to the black eye. How did Heather Gay get a black eye? I really do not even freaking know. So here's the thing. I also The Bravo sphere on Instagram is hot right now. So I read this post that said, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City being put on pause. And we're going to get to that in a second. It said, Bravo and the editors are also doing Heather dirty with the black eye edit. The morning it happened, she told everybody she thinks she hit it on the sink, but doesn't remember because they were drunk. Production told Heather they had footage of someone punching her and pressured her to pin it on someone. She refused to talk about it to anyone because she didn't know what happened and was going through an internal investigation with Bravo after the incident. She was trying to squash the storyline because of the behind-the-scenes investigation and because the producers had lied about footage. They're editing her like a villain to save their own ass for lying. That is what I've read. That production has fabricated this whole thing and has made it sound like we have the footage of someone clocking you in the face. But Heather thinks that she just slipped and fell and hit her eye on a sink. I don't know what is happening, but as a viewer, I'm really annoyed with this whole black eye thing. I'm really annoyed with this whole season. There are no storylines. Jen Shah doesn't even want to freaking talk about her legal case. Whitney is like pissed at Heather for her helling journey and like not having her back. But like Whitney is upset with Heather for something, and I'm still not really clear of why Whitney is so pissed off at Heather. Heather has a black eye, but doesn't want to talk about it. Made a choir, but what is happening there? Meredith, I really don't know what's going on with Meredith this season. I don't know what her storyline is. Lisa Barlow, I love Lisa. Like, her obsession with like fast food and Kit Kats, I'm loving it. But I don't know, there's no substance at all with this season. It makes zero sense. I am so confused. I'm so confused as to why Heather and Whitney are fighting. It makes no sense to me. I do not understand the delusion of Jen Shah. I do not understand Heather Gay and the black eye, and what the fuck is going on with this black eye? Here's what, all right, if I really sit down and think about it, I don't think anyone punched Heather in the face. I can't see Jen doing that because they're like ride or die. Whitney, she's Miss Spiritual Hippy Dippy, I'm on a helling journey. She would not do that. Lisa Barlow, I cannot see Lisa Barlow clocking someone, nor can I see love you, baby, bye. She's not going to do it. The friends of are not going to do it because they're trying to earn their spot to be on the cast. They're not going to do it. I guess I kind of can see that production is like, this season fucking sucks. Let's try to make it interesting. But if that's the case and that's the way you're spinning it, shame on you. Like, that's not appropriate. It's not cool. It's not cool for anyone that actually is abused and gets physically assaulted. They're just making a mockery out of the whole thing. I just feel like this whole season is a mockery. The whole Heather Gay black eye, can we end it already? All right, we're never going to find out. Let's move on. And let's not ever let this happen again. So then the last thing I want to talk about today with all of you is whether or not the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City has a future. Like, does it have a future going into season 4? I don't know. I don't think it does. I really don't think it does. I think season 1 was so amazing because it was brand new. It was shiny. It was new. We were so excited for a brand new franchise coming to Bravo, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, this Mormon community behind the like underbelly of like the Mormon religion. Season 2 was great because like fucking Jen Shah got goddamn arrested. And then we move into season 3, the current season that we are all watching. And let me tell you something right now about this season. Nothing makes sense. Not a single freaking thing. Where are the storylines? We have the only real storylines, and I use that term real loosely, is the feud between Heather Gay and Whitney. Whitney's on some helling journey about her abuse, but we really don't know what the abuse is, and we really don't know what the disagreement is, other than the fact that Whitney is very upset that Heather doesn't hear her, isn't listening to her, doesn't respect her, and that whole thing. Jen, her legal things that she doesn't even want to talk about, anytime that's even brought up, it is turned into a quick blowout feud. What is Heather Gay's storyline? I mean, she had the choir, but that was really the extent of it. And then the black eye that she doesn't even want to talk about. There are literally no storylines. And I read a post on the interwebs of Instagram, the Bravoverse, about how the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is like a parody of all of the other franchises. And I'm like, that is freaking accurate. It is like a joke version of all of the other franchises. And things need to change. So that brings me to the question of, is there a future for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City beyond season 3? I mean, the reunion did not even air yet. And from what I've heard, it's only going to be 2 parts. And if it is a total flop letdown of a reunion, I don't know if there's a future for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And unpopular opinion alert. I have an unpopular opinion that I'm going to share with everybody. With Jen Shah making her exit from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because she's clink clink going to jail for the next 6.5, for the next 5.5 to 6.5 years. So she's gone without Jen Shah because at the end of the day, she's such a huge personality, and she's a gross human being. Like what she did was horrible, and I am not saying that I agree with what she did, because I do not. But she is such a huge personality that I don't know if anyone else can fill those shoes. What they need to do is either, they can go down 2 routes. They can keep like 1 or 2 and then recast. I think they need to completely recast the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City with women that actually have relationships with each other, like actually have genuine friendships. Because let's face it, this current cast, they are not friends. They are not friends outside of the cameras. They are, at the end of the day, coworkers. They are coworkers that just so happen to be quote-unquote friends when cameras are around. I want Bravo to find a group of actual friends in the Salt Lake City area that have genuine connections, genuine friendships, and genuine drama. Not these forced, convoluted, wackadoo storylines that literally make zero fucking sense. That is what I have to say about that. And continuing back on the post that I was talking about earlier on the old interwebs of Instagram, it says, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City being put on pause. After a whole season with practically no storylines, an even worse reunion that hasn't aired, which that's nerve-wracking within itself, execs seem to be scrambling with the Salt Lake City Housewives. None of these women have received deals for a 4th season, which is supposed to be filming this month, January, and it has now been pushed to probably February with no specific date. One producer claims Lisa Barlow is the only one who's safe, but she's very difficult to cast around. Seems like a major casting shakeup or a Dallas-style no plans to bring it back announcement is imminent. I don't think there is a future for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. There, I said it. That's my gut, honest reaction. I think this might be the end of the road for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This season, it just feels weird. Nothing makes sense. You have Heather Gay having the biggest black eye but doesn't want to talk about it. You have Whitney and her healing journey and her abuse, but really isn't talking about it. What is Lisa Barlow bringing to the table? I love her. Trust. She's like the MVP of Salt Lake City, but if you really look at it, she's not bringing anything to the table. Meredith Marks, I mean, I love her. But also, where are the storylines? Where are the storylines? I don't know. I don't know if there's a future beyond season 3. I think they need to put it on an indefinite hiatus and figure it out. Because the shiny newness from what we loved in season 1, unfortunately, it's gone. So that is the news coming out from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We've got Jen Shah, who's going to prison for 6.5 years. Heather Gay having a black eye that she does not want to talk about it. And then you have the future of the Salt Lake City Housewives, which has a big question mark. So I'm going to turn it over to all of y'all now. Comment below. Comment me all the things. What do we think of the prison sentence for Jen Shah? What do y'all think happened to Heather Gay's black eye? Is it production concocting it all? Did someone fucking punch her in the face? What is happening? And do you think that there's a future for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? Comment below. And also get subscribed to my channel, y'all. I've got so many more things coming. We have a whole Beverly Hills Housewife video coming. We're talking about the firing of Lisa Rinna. Get subscribed. Help me out. I'm on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Help me get there. We're so close. 2,000 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. It's quick. It helps me out. And that's all I've got for you guys today. This was a lot to unpack. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Love you, baby. Bye. Get subscribed to my channel.